YouTube? Corncob Piper coming at you. It is a Friday afternoon. Hope everybody's having a great start to their weekend. Headed off this evening to watch my son play in his first flag football game of the year. So pretty excited about that. Smoking my Friday 7 Ellie, the 673 KS. Inside of it I have packed up some Haunted Bookshop, which is part of what I'm going to be getting to here in this video. I wanted to share with you guys what blends that I had planned on smoking this fall. I plan on reviewing them all, and I'm running a little bit behind right now. I was expecting to have my second review done in a couple days here, and I haven't even done one. I've just been so busy. But I will find time to review them all, and there's going to be 8 of them. One of them being one that I've already reviewed, which is the Haunted Bookshop. I'll go ahead and post a link down below to the video of me reviewing it if you want to check it out. But I put together, some samplings of stuff that I'd like to, some stuff that I haven't tried, some stuff that I've tried, that I definitely want to get into this autumn season. I have pretty much everything here in this container. I'll go through really quickly the blends that I'm going to be smoking, and then I'm also going to share a quick Halloween tale with you guys, being that this is holiday season, and there's a couple pipes I'm going to show you that I'll be smoking as well. So first up, blend which I've never tried, never had it, never have. That is Grey Ghost. This is this is a Virginia and cigar leaf, and I do quite like cigar leaf blends, so definitely looking forward to trying this. Picked it for the holiday season based on, has ghost in the name. Next up is Dan Tobacco Devil's Holiday. This is a berry blend, and I forget what kind of berries they are, but they are not native berries to the U.S. The word escapes me what kind of berries in here, but definitely looking forward to trying that one as well. Next up is the one I'm smoking now, and I bought a tin of it just because I like to collect tins for the tin art. I normally buy Haunted Bookshop in bulk, but I did pick up a tin of it just to have on hand. And I know Burleys don't age very well, but this does have some Virginias in it, so I may let this tin sit a few years before I do get into it. Next up is a McClellan Deep Hollow. I suppose you guys can sense a theme to these tobaccos. Then we have some Russ Roulette's Cavendish in the Woods. It's a black Cavendish aromatic. Smells quite nice. Some Cornell and Diehl Autumn Evening. Now this is one of my favorite aromatics. I have a bunch of this jarred up, but Babyface Huey did send me this sample, so I figured through the holiday season I'll just smoke out of this bag. That way I don't have to worry about jarring it up, kind of like the lazy way out. Next up is John Patton's mix from Fort Oggins. This is Harvest Moon. And then we have another one of my favorite aromatics that I have jarred up, but Babyface Huey sent me a sample of as well, so I'll be smoking out of the bag also, is some Strauss's Sleepy Hollow. And if I had to pick a favorite aromatic, if a gun was to my head, this probably would be the one that I would pick. It's just a fantastic blend. And last up, and I'm kind of nervous about this one, this sounds like it has tongue bite written all over it, is Russ Roulette's Candy Corn. So those are the blends that I'm going to be smoking and reviewing through this fall season. So if you guys are interested in seeing some aromatic reviews and a couple of Virginia reviews, stay tuned for that. I'll try to get those all done before November the 1st. Just got to find enough time to smoke it of them so I could actually do a review, because I like to get at least 3 or 4 bowls of a tobacco in before I do the review. And for most of those, I have never smoked them. I will also be smoking out of my Cobb Mod, my Morgan nose warmer Cobb Mod. This is the one that I ended up keeping. I definitely really appreciate everyone that purchased one of these pipes to help support my son's team for the Walk to Cure Diabetes, type 1 diabetes. And then I also picked up this witch pipe, which I thought was pretty cool, from Etsy. It was like 15 bucks. I'm pretty sure it was meant to be a pop pipe. Actually, I'm not pretty sure. I am sure that it was meant to be a pop pipe, because it also came with this bag of 5 screens as well. So I don't know how it's going to smoke. I may only smoke out of it one time, and then it'll become a decoration. But I'm going to go ahead and give it a try. I am going to be reviewing the Sleepy Hollow. It's going to be the first one that I review. It's the one I know the best. I'll be reviewing it either tonight, probably tonight, but you may not see it till tomorrow, till Saturday, because of the game tonight. I don't know if I'll have enough time to get it uploaded and everything. And I'll be smoking it out of my Cobb Mod that I did, my Jack-o'-lantern Cobb Mod. So a little story that I'd like to share with you guys. And I don't know what made me think of this story today. I think I might have been talking to somebody at work about Halloween. I grew up in Toledo, Ohio, which is also known as Little Detroit. It's a 45-minute drive down I-75 south from Detroit to Toledo. And it was very much set up the same way as Detroit. It was built around the automotive industry. It's got a river that cuts right through it, the Maumee River, kind of the way the Rouge River runs through Dearborn and all the plants there. Libby Owens Glass is from Toledo, which used to make all of the automotive glass for the big three. And then, we had all the, the big three plants in Toledo at one point. So Jeep, Ford, and GM were all there. Champion Spark Plugs is from Toledo. So it was a factory town, but not really the point of my story. The point of my story is, I guess what I'm getting to, is Toledo is known as Little Detroit. And there was a thing that got started in the late 70s and went through the 80s and the early 90s in Detroit called Devil's Night, which was the night before Halloween. And it was basically a night for basically hooligans to go out and vandalize stuff. A lot of problems with arson, theft, property damage, things of that nature. And Toledo, being that it was, Little Detroit, kind of emulated that Devil's Night thing. And I grew up during the 80s, early 90s, when it was a real big thing. Now, we weren't involved with, too much, illegal activities. But we did like to go out on Devil's Night when we were kids and, soap cars, toilet paper in people's houses and trees, throw eggs at people's windows, ding dong ditch where you go up and you knock on somebody's door and then run away and hide and watch to see them, looking to see who's out there. Just, I guess, good kind of somewhat clean kid fun. And there was a group of, I had plenty of friends in the neighborhood, but I had a close group of friends, and there was 5 of us. We were about 12 or 13. Devil's Night, the night before Halloween, fell on a Friday. And 3 of us decided we were going to go watch the varsity football game at the local high school, Whitmer High School. 2 of them didn't, and I'm not going to name any names here. 2 of them didn't go. They stayed behind. And this was Devil's Night. And then they were like, we're going to go do some ding-dong ditching. Like I said, we're like 12 or 13 years old. So we go to the game, come home, not eventful, night. I get a phone call from one of my buddies, one of the ones that stayed behind, and said, turn on the news, turn on the news. So real quick, turn on the news, Channel 11 News. And they're showing footage of this huge pile of leaves burning in my neighborhood, right at the end of my street. So back in the day, you used to rake your leaves out to the edge of the lawn, and then a truck would come through and suck them up with this big vacuum and shred them, and they would take them off somewhere else. I don't know if they still do that, but they did when I was a kid. I know when I was an adult and moved to Michigan, we burned our leaves out at the road. You rake small piles and then burn, rake some more small piles and burn, just so it wouldn't get out of hand. So I'm watching the news, and this house down at the end of my road was surrounded by a set of woods. And if you cut through the woods, hopped the fence and jumped across the creek, you were in Michigan. That's how close my house was to the border of Ohio and Michigan. But because this house was surrounded by woods, it had tons and tons of trees in the front yard and the backyard. So every fall, they would, do a tremendous, amount of work raking all these leaves out to the front of the road. In a pile out in front of this house was gigantic. It had to be every bit of 8 or 9 feet tall, maybe 25 to 35 feet long, covering the whole front of the property. Well, these two idiots friends of mine, decided that wouldn't it be funny. And by the way, we're having a very dry fall this year, so the leaves are bone dry. These two idiots decided that they were going to light the pile of leaves on fire, which they did. Ran away. Basically, this whole humongous pile of leaves caught fire. There was like 4 or 5 fire trucks called out to put this fire out. And, being that young, I thought it was the coolest thing that my friends did something that made the 11 o'clock news. Now, in hindsight, as an adult, that was one of the stupidest things that these kids could have ever done. I mean, if that fire would have got out of hand, gone in and caught the trees on fire on that property, it could have burned down the houses, several other houses in the neighborhood. Just a bonehead move, but, when you're that age, I guess you're not thinking, like an adult would. They just thought, and I thought, that it was super cool that they had lit this pile of leaves on fire and it had made the 11 o'clock news. Now, during the early 90s, they changed the name of Devil's Night to Angel's Night in Detroit and Toledo, and it became kind of like a one-night neighborhood watch thing where all the neighbors would come out and they would patrol the neighborhoods and basically keep them safe, stop the vandalism, stop the arson, and it's worked and it's been successful. There is no more such thing as Devil's Night, except for in my memory, which is a good thing that it's cleaned up and people don't have to worry about that. But just a funny story about the stuff that we used to do when we were kids without really thinking. And I do have some great memories of, the good kind of fun of, toilet paper in people's houses, or the ding-dong ditching was always fun. And we always did it, I don't know why, to people that we knew. We never did it to strangers. Sometimes we get chased doing it, and that was always a little fun too. So just a memory from my childhood, albeit a... could have been dangerous one, and thankfully it was not. But I hope you enjoyed the Halloween tale. Stay tuned for my upcoming reviews of these fall tobaccos, and I hope everybody has a great fall season. As always, YouTube, keep on piping.